Hey everybody, welcome back to Flippin' Profit. Today I'm super excited to show you these huge vintage scores where I did a bundle deal for around $200 and I'm projecting to sell all these items for over $1,000 profit. Now they did ask me through the estate sale we're walking through right now not to video, so I had to turn my camera off, but it'll be more of a haul type video, and there's all kinds of things for everybody in here like video games, glass, kitchen items, and then there's some miscellaneous items that go all the way back to even the 1930s. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. The first thing we're going to start with is the video games. Now, video games are probably my favorite thing to find just because that's what I grew up playing, but this here is actually a Sega Genesis, which from what I can tell looks like it was released around the 1980s. And it actually came with all the cords, and we tested it, and the two controllers, the game, Sonic the Hedgehog that you see here, actually worked really well. So try to look it up to sell it all as one bundle, but it actually was more to my benefit to actually piecemeal this out and sell the controllers separately, the game, and the console all separately. So when you're selling things, just make sure to check that because there might be more profit in it if you piece stuff out instead of selling it all together. So this next item here is actually a GameCube, and I'm hoping y'all don't say this one's vintage because this is kind of what I grew up playing, and I feel like I'm not that old yet, but I guess it depends on perspective. So one thing I'd always recommend when you get some of these systems is check what's on the inside. This one actually came with a game that I didn't even know I was getting, Animal Crossing, and it's actually a pretty good game, which I'll show you here in a second. This case only had two games in it. It was MVP Baseball and Cabela's Big Game Hunter. Those only go for about $5 to $10 each, so not a lot of value there. But it also came with a really good find here, Super Smash Bros. Melee, actually in the case. Now, it is missing the manual, so that kind of hurts the value a little bit, but the game is actually in really good condition, so I'm really excited about that. But just these two games alone and the GameCube, I'm expecting to get over $150 in sales. This next item I thought was vintage, but was corrected. So this is actually a Super Nintendo NES model CLV 201. It actually was released in 2017, so it's not vintage, but it has all the vintage old games on there, so that's really cool. It actually came with everything you needed. This is another one that we actually hooked up and played, so there's a lot of a lot of time I spent on this thing, so I'm not even sure I'm going to sell it, but the comps are actually pretty good on it. Original in the box like this is about $100. Now, obviously mine is an open box, and one thing I also noted is the controller you'll see here in a second actually isn't the original controller with it. It's like they took another one from another system, but it does hook up and it does work. So something I'll think about keeping, but I'll probably end up selling it. The next thing I found, one of these items is actually the most expensive out of all the video games in here. The first thing I'm going to show you is a couple Game Boy games, and the first one is Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets. Now, I'm a Harry Potter fan myself, so this one I might keep. The next one here is Quicks. It's about a $5 game on eBay, so not a bunch of value there. But the last one is Solomon's Club from 1991. So this is another $20 game, so a good pickup there. Now the 3DS was in really good shape. It actually ran, it has the pin in it, all that good stuff. And as I mentioned earlier, always check what's in the system. Now you can obviously see there's a game in there, but when I pull it out, I was shocked. It actually is Pokemon Emerald, which is a $200 game and has a bunch of sales on eBay. Now the battery's a little dry on this one, so we'll see what that does to my value. But on the back side, there's actually Pokemon Diamond, so another really good pickup. Anything Pokemon, I always try to pick it up. It's a good risk to take. Moving on to the vintage glassware, we're going to start off with these two Mrs. Buttersworth glasses that are about 24 ounces each. These are really cool because they actually came with the metal caps, and when I looked them up on eBay, they went for about 10 to 20 bucks. So not huge scores, but something I definitely picked up. The next item here is a vintage goose butter dish. Now, I saw a couple comments, and thank you for all those about how quickly do I move stuff. It just depends on the item. This one actually already sold in 2 days after listing it for $15, so you just never know what's going to go quick. Getting into a couple coffee cups now. This first one is a 1992 Fitz and Floyd coffee cup. Really pretty sunflowers on it. This is actually a pretty good brand to look out for. They make some other ceramic stuff like vases that are actually pretty valuable, so something to keep an eye on when you're out there shopping. The second coffee cup I picked up for $1 is oxtail soup, which I thought was just kind of cool. When you scan it, you'll see all kinds of different recipes on here, so this is probably a collectible one, and I think I'll be able to move it pretty quick. The next couple of items are all from about the 1960s. This first one is actually an amber glass candy jar. Now, amber glass isn't the most expensive thing you can find, but it does have some value here. This one actually goes for about $20 on eBay, so wanted to pick this one up. This next item actually goes with the last one. It is another 1960s amber candy dish, and it had a little bitty acorn top to it, so that was kind of interesting. This is in pretty good shape. There is a chip or two on it, but I still think I can get around 20 bucks for it because you can't really tell with the amber glass hides the chips really well. So this is the first item I'm going to show you from the 1930s, and this is a Federal Madrid yellow amber depression glass butter dish. So again, it's amber glass, so it's not the most expensive thing in the world, but these people took really good care of these items. I mean, these things are in great shape. I still think I'll be able to sell it really quickly, and it goes for about $17.50 on eBay. The next item here is actually from around the 1960s. This is a vintage lucite grape cluster, and there's actually all kinds of different colors of these things, so be on the lookout. And the bigger they are, the more they sell for. This is only the 13 cluster, but I'm still thinking I can get around $20 to $25 for it. This estate sale also had a Japan section, so the first thing that caught my eye was this hand-painted Dragonware moraine serving plate. This isn't the exact one that I'm showing you on the comp here, but I did find one close to it for about $15. The second item I bought that was made in Japan is this white dragon that's about 8 inches long, and actually, again, it's just a really nice piece, really cool, and it's in really good shape. This one was going on eBay for around $50. Last item of the glassware that was made in Japan is this really pretty butterfly, and I think those are daisies. I'm going to call this a cookie jar. So I'm not exactly sure what this goes for. I couldn't find it on eBay or even Google or Amazon. So I was hoping y'all could leave me a comment below. Let me know what y'all think this is and what it's worth. I just picked it up because I had some really good success with a Japanese cookie jar recently, so I thought this might be worth a shot. Moving on to the kitchen items, the first two things I pick up are a couple pressure cookers. This first one is a Miromatic 4-quart pressure cooker, and they can get about 20 to 25 bucks for it on eBay. The next pressure cooker is quite a bit bigger and quite a bit older. This is a National Number 7 pressure cooker made in Wisconsin, and it was made somewhere between 1917 and 1939. Now the gauge does have a slight crack in it, but I'm not too worried because that shouldn't affect the readings. But again, looking this one up on eBay, I'm thinking I can get around $70 for it. This next pot I thought was really cool. It had a bunch of different designs on it of food, and you can see there it was only $1, so I had to pick it up. But it's a 1970s pot, and it's like a steamer, and it actually had everything inside. Here, I'll show you in a second. Now, the comps on this were kind of all over the place, but for $1, I picked it up. You can kind of see here it was going anywhere from $12 to $42, so I thought it was worth my investment to give it a shot for $1. Always say you don't have to be an expert to do this. I just scan a bunch of things and learn. So this next one, I actually put it in the kitchen section, but it's more for outdoors and picnic. This is a 1960s Regal Ware aluminum stacking 5-tier picnic pan, and I was kind of shocked when taking it apart. This thing is in really good condition, and going on eBay, these things go for around $20 to $25, so I wanted to pick this one up. The last thing I'm going to show you that I picked up for the kitchen section is these Pyrex bowls. Now, Pyrex in general, anytime I see it, I usually pick it up because it does have some pretty good value. These are actually the Cinderella set, and I couldn't actually find a comp on eBay that had all 4 of them, but here's one that has the 2 larger ones for $60. So I'm thinking with all 4 of them in this condition, I think I'm going to get around $80 to $100 on eBay for them. Finishing up with our last section, we're going to start off with some Fisher Price toys. This is actually a train set. I'm missing the load station, but I actually have the train, the cart behind it, a tractor, and then a couple of the little people. Like I said, this is from the 1970s, so I think I can sell those 3 together for around $20 on eBay. Now, these little people here in the tractor, I'm going to try to get maybe $5 to $10 off of it. And then all the tracks in the background, maybe I can sell for $10 as well on eBay. The next vintage toy I found was this Romper Room 1980s Mr. Potato Head. So the box isn't in the best condition, and you can see there's a bag in there. Anytime you get something like this, you want to make sure all the pieces are there, because if they're not there, it's going to significantly decrease your value. Luckily, I went through it and all the pieces were in the box, so I think I'm going to get around $30 from eBay on this. The next thing I thought that was pretty cool was this makeup bag by American Tourist. So I'm not exactly sure. You'll have to tell me in the comments how old this is. I'm thinking it's around the 1960s as well, but it was actually in really good shape. And the bottom of it is a little dirty, but I should be able to clean that out pretty easily. I think I'm going to get around $30 on eBay for it. But again, all their stuff they had at this estate sale was in really, really good condition. So this one you could tell was used a little bit, but like I said, a little bit of hard work. I should be able to clean up the bottom of this pretty easily. Last but not least on this estate sale haul are these 1930s Chase USA ship wheels made by Walter Van Nessen. And I wasn't exactly sure what they were until I turned them sideways and looked them up on eBay. They're actually bookends, so that was really cool. And then they actually go for around $50. So that is it for this vintage haul. I just want to thank y'all so much for watching all the way in the video. If you found something new or just like this style of video, smash that like button, leave me a comment below, and happy flipping!